Hello, my name's Laura Lamonto. Welcome to Courageously Change. Today, I'm going to share a little bit of a testimonial of something that's gone on in my own life this past 2025. But however, it's also going to be therapeutic and clinical. Um, Typically, I have been a single woman and I'm very, independent and I do a lot on my own. So there's some confidence there. There's some, um, growth that things I've done and what I've accomplished to where I am today. However, one thing I've not done very well at is being in relationships and understanding how to express myself. And this past year, I've had a housemate, which I haven't had in a long time. Okay. It's a male, which is not a romantic partner. It was a male. It was an interesting dynamic for me because I don't have healthy relationships with men, whether romantic, whether friendships, but I definitely learned that I also have a hard time with someone's presence just in my space. So I missed and liked having someone there to come home to have conversations, to watch a movie together, to, just talk. But then there were also very emotional, bad experiences for me that I did. And it was an interesting dynamic. And when I started to learn about myself, because you can't fix things you don't know until you're aware, so they become conscious. You're making the unconscious conscious. And to be in relationships with people, they sort of mirror or bring out things in you that maybe you didn't really know existed or was hidden. So as I had this roommate, I started to recognize, and I was called out on it, that I would project all of my bad days or all my bad emotions or all my bad experiences, if I had any bad day, and project it onto him and sort of put him to be at fault or to blame. Now, he's an adult man, has four young adult children, okay? Has been in long-term relationships. So he definitely saw this unhealthy pattern, okay, that I had that wasn't even his to hold, wasn't his to take, wasn't his to feel to blame or take responsibility. So he actually, would check me and call me out on it. Like, don't put your responsibility of your feelings on me. Don't make me accountable or blame for something that you have unresolved emotional dysregulation. That's not my problem. And I didn't like it. It would feel like I wanted to defend myself. And I did. Sometimes I would defend myself. And it was weird because I didn't have to do any of that. I didn't have to have this projection or these dysregulated emotions onto this man. But I definitely learned that I do it. And he definitely put up the boundary and the pattern for the home because he didn't want to be blamed or have his integrity or his character threatened because I had unresolved emotions. So this, I guess, is me being aware of me. First, I couldn't heal that area unless I had a housemate that I had to confront myself, confront my own problems, my own dysregulated emotions and feelings and bad days. Okay. I had to first be in that situation to see it. And then I had to have someone who wasn't, I guess, like emotionally attached to me check me and call me out on it and be like, what the heck is that? You don't do that. Take accountability for your own feelings. It was, I'm used to unhealthy. I'm used to unhealthy dynamics or unhealthy relationships or unavailable men or something that, can be an unhealthy way of coping, where this man had better coping emotional intelligence skills, and it was very intuitive and caught it like quickly. He broke the pattern and checked me. Didn't mean I stopped right away. My motives to me were not malicious. They weren't like I was trying to do it. It was an unconscious trauma response or unconscious reaction in relationships. But I actually now know that I do this in friendships, in a housemate, probably in romantic relationships. I actually do this. I will put the blame or the accountability or the responsibility of my emotions onto them and expect them to hold that and wear that and take that on them and threaten their own character when it was really me who's dysregulated. So if you are somebody okay, who recognizes that you don't want to take accountability, you don't want to take responsibility, you don't want to feel your feelings, or you maybe aren't maliciously doing it either. Maybe it's unconscious. Okay, use every situation, every relationship to grow. And hopefully you'll have someone who is more stable, like this gentleman as my housemate, who's more stable to put a boundary or to check you or to call you out on it so you can see it, because you can't see it till you see it. Okay. I didn't like it. I wanted to get my back up. I wanted to bark and bite and argue and defend. And, he definitely took a step back. He definitely would be like, that's your issues. Go out, broke the pattern. I believe the pattern's broken. I don't know yet in other relationships, with other friendships, with my parents, with my son, with any other romantic partner, if I'm going to do this again. And I hope not. I'm hoping I can get better at it. But I did need someone to show me and correct it. So if you're in relationships with people, whether romantic, whether friendships, whether coworkers, and you are someone who projects your dysregulated emotions onto someone else, try to start to see it, or allow whoever's in your circle, if they're trying to explain something to you, they might say something like, hold on, I think we need to pause. This conversation is not benefiting me and not being productive. Let's pause. That was said to me. I didn't like pausing. Okay. And I would then still want to break the boundary and not pause. Okay, so I learned a lot about myself in 2025 in this area, but I do think you might have people in your circle, if you're someone who has possibly projected your unresolved issues onto other people, that if someone says pause, actually pause, okay, and start to catch and see what you're doing. It was a very challenging year for me, but I do know it was a needed year for me. I'm not proud of the year, and I'm going to be very loving and very forgiving and very, evolving and growing and understanding. And you need to do the same if you're in that position. But do try to experience life and use each situation that you are either learning to help someone else and be corrective in their life, or they're being used to be corrective in your life. And that is what happened in this situation. I do think it was a give and take. Okay, but I couldn't assign him my issues and put that on him. So that was my lesson. Just be considerate if you are someone who is still evolving and growing and wanting to evolve and grow. Pay attention to those kind of things around you. It did help me. I didn't like it. Didn't feel good. Still might not have mastered it, but I definitely know I do it and I have to get better at it. Thank you.